Turn down the lights. Raise your hand to your heartbeat. Feel the rhythm of the song you cries. 'Cause if the holding on keeps you from feeling good, well then, the letting go shouldn't hurt. Forget what you think you know. Forget what this world's made you. You gotta look beyond that. It's the only thing I will tell you. 'Cause when the holding on keeps you from feeling good, the letting go shouldn't hurt. It ain't no sacrifice if your heart is too deep. You ain't gonna disappear if you just stop fighting. It ain't impossible, so just sit down and breathe. Relax your fingers and release. Just let go. So how you gonna live your life with a white knuckle grip? You know you were meant to fly. Life is not a prison. When you can't remember the last time you lived, well, then it's time to let it go. Just let go. So turn down the lights. Raise your hand to your heartbeat. Feel the rhythm of the song you praise. And if the holding on keeps you from feeling good, well then, the letting go shouldn't hurt. If the holding on
it's heat season. You know how I do with that. One of these days I'm going to cool down. I just know it. Thank you, Summer. And yeah, Summer's not played with the band, so she's like, where'd you get these guys? Amazing, yeah. All right, I think I can go on now. Thank you. Just ignore that if that comes up. So, one of these days I'll get to not needing my notes up here and I'll stay down there. But I did my prayer down there today. That felt good. Our power of the month, we've been doing these 12 powers all year, our 12 capacities that are innate to us, that help us not only navigate our human experience, but ultimately can be used from our spiritual awareness of who and what we are. They are innate in us. We use them whether we know it or not. And so our goal is to learn how to use them consciously and purposefully toward higher and higher levels of awareness. This month, I chose that song because this month's power is release, originally called elimination. For those of you keeping notes, it's represented by the disciple Thaddeus, and the feminine representation is Ruth. I'll talk a little bit more about that next week. Located in our body, you guessed it, in the lower abdomen. So bringing order to our elimination system, which is really important to work well, right? Unity's co-founder, Charles Fillmore, said, "The mind, like the bowels, should be open and free." Wow, you guys are lively. All right, we're off to a good start. I'm glad the children left. They have a lot of fun with this one. So, spiritual release is our power to cleanse, renounce, which just is a big word for reject, and repent. Another one of your favorite words, I bet. That just means to change your mind. To change your mind. It's not to change your mind about who you are, about what you're about. We'll talk more about repentance next week for sure. So just like with our food, we take what nourishes us, which restores our body, and the rest gets eliminated. Can we think about that with our thoughts? Right? The things that are not nourishing us, that are not growing us, let them go. Let them go. The object that's often used to demonstrate the power of release is a body of water, right? A healthy body of water has an open inlet and an open outlet, right? If it gets blocked, it gets stinky and it dies, gets stagnant. So we talk about, in New Thought, stinking thinking, right? Where we just kind of get stuck in a stinky, negative, nothing new, holding on, nothing going out. Linda Martello-Whitsett says, damning the mind with unforgiveness, self-criticism, or non-constructive beliefs produces stinking thinking. Utilize any of these three aspects of the purgative power of release, and you will not only feel better, but you will know more surely your innate self, your divine identity. So we have to let go of the habitual ways of thinking, many of which we were taught and society has echoed back to us in order to claim this higher truth of us. And we have to, one of the favorite teachings from Tara Brach, who did a talk on like how to stay calm and not get triggered in challenging situations. And the simple line is, please, God, don't let me believe everything I think. Right? Because sometimes holy cow, about ourselves, about each other, And when we're reacting from that place, it doesn't always go so well. It's important to use this power of release with our other capacity for understanding, which is our, gosh darn it, I want to go back and actually say, our power of release is helpful to temper our power of will, our willpower, so that we are aligning what we choose, that's our power of will, in ways that reflect more than just me, myself, and I, our kind of egoic nature, right? But that, wait a minute, I'm part of a system. I'm part of a human family. I'm part of a dynamic world. What I do impacts a lot of people, and I'm impacted by a lot of people. So I want my will to be tempered by, it needs to be my way. I like to grab this sometimes. Like loosen that up and let life be what it will be. Recognizing that sometimes we don't always know exactly how it will be. Charles Fillmore again says, a tense will set to accomplish some personal end keeps everything to that end and puts a limitation on the activity of every other function. The remedy is the relaxation of will, the letting go of personal objectives. Give up your willfulness and ask that the divine will be done in you and in your affairs. Now that doesn't mean I don't do anything, right? God's in charge. No. We claim that our true will is to do our true purpose here, to shine the light that we are here, and to release things and behaviors that might stand in the way of that. We also call upon our power of understanding, which is our ability to know, to perceive, and to comprehend. Right? To comprehend that there is more to us than the appearance. There is more to us than our status. There is more to us than our pain, even our successes. And to stay true to that more, letting that express more and more. So cleansing, renouncing, and repenting. Everybody feels better after a shower, right? Mostly. Sometimes. It's not as exciting as it used to be. When you're younger, you used to do it all the time. And now I'm like, every third day is good, right? Just wet the hair down. In the Christian scriptures, these powers of release, cleansing, renouncing, and repenting, were demonstrated by John the Baptist. John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin, ascetic Jewish cousin, meaning he was denouncing the ways of the world. He was really all about spiritual stuff. He lived in the woods and wore pelts and ate bugs and very extreme. He was extreme in his way of life. He would baptize people in the river Jordan, baptizing them of their sins, of their worldly ways, right? Cleansing them of, ultimately, if you think of it metaphysically, cleansing them of their only human consciousness, all the ways that they had limited themselves, that this is all they could be, this is all they could have, this is all they could know. God was something out there. Actually, let's release those limiting thoughts and so he used the cleansing power of water to baptize people. And what he was really doing was making the way for his cousin, the Christ, to come and say, this is who you really are, but you have to let go of all the limitations you have decided you are in truth. That's not true. So you have to wash those away, let those go. Now, I'm going to debunk sin a little bit, right? When we talk about sin from the original definition, it's an archery term, which just means to miss the mark, right? It's not like, that's it, it's all over, you know where you're going. No, you just aim again, right? And every time you miss, you learn a little bit more about your aim. So the real sin is not learning from our mistakes. That's it. And there's nothing that we can do, though it's been taught, in my opinion, incorrectly. There's nothing that we can do to deny our connection with God, to piss God off. God is way bigger than that. Right? So this idea of sin has really, as we know, caused a lot of damage. Linda Martella-Whitsett says, sin, contrary to centuries of thought, does not cause estrangement from God. When we feel separate, we can clean our mind with the power of release. Because that's the only place that we can ever be separate, is when we think we are. Separate from our source, separate from each other. So we want to release that idea, release those thoughts in order to claim higher and higher levels of truth, that we are one, we are expressions of that source, of that life. So I ask you, well, let me tell you this before I ask you. Linda Martella-Whitsett says this: sins can be understood as the errors or mistakes we have made, lies we have told, facts we have withheld, confidence we have broken, and all matter of integrity breaches that we all have because we're human beings. Yes? So the power of release is this: what residue of your past mistakes, your misjudgments, your integrity breaches are you ready to release? In order to say, I'm going to re-aim. I'm going to re-aim. I'm going to try to hit the mark again, which is what? To act in love for ourselves and for each other, with compassion, with forgiveness. And so we let the shame and the blame of what happened go, but we keep the nourishment of what we learned in the process. I think that's really important. That don't keep punishing ourselves. Just learn. I think that's what we're being asked as a nation, as a race of people. The lies and the misconceptions and the withholding of truth, it's nauseating. And the realization that people will do that. What greed and power will do. And we all have that. We all know that. We all have the capacity for. Who of us hasn't thought, oh, what I would do if I was filthy rich? Ooh, what I would do if I had all that power. Right? We know the capacity there. Again, we want to ease the grip of our personal will that will say, oh. And there's that within us that knows. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, cleansing is literally like cleansing our thoughts with the sprinkling power of awareness. Right? Just becoming aware of our habitual thoughts. Do you want to believe what you're telling yourself? Would you recommend that to a friend? Shift the channel. Right? Shift the channel. Clean out the space. We used to often envision this as literally like sweeping out the cobwebs of our mind. All the old things that we've held in there and collected all the evidence for. And, you know, when you collect too many things, it becomes a hazard in your house, right? I mean, there are people that suffer from that psychological need to hoard things. And at some point, it's dangerous. And you can't even enjoy the things, right? So we've got to let go of some of the things we've held on to in order to let higher and higher truth be known. To have new things. Yeah, I'm not going to fit in those clothes from 20 years ago. So I'm going to let them go. Get some that fit, for God's sake. Why am I wasting the time and the space? The same thing with our thoughts about ourselves and about what's possible. So clearing way in our mind, releasing what no longer serves us, releasing what we've outgrown, individually and collectively, is the power of this power of release. And then renunciation, the formal rejection of something, typically a belief, a claim, or an action. A course in action, sorry. So spiritually, we are rejecting that we are only human. We're releasing only human consciousness, which limits us. When we release our belief that I am only human, we uncover our divine identity. And it's been fully intact all along. I am, you are, infinite potential. When will we live like that? And when we do that from the source of, it's not my potential against your potential. There's infinite potential. You be you. Shine it like you. Doesn't take away from me. I know this was much more interesting when I wrote it. Let me liven it up. Hang on a minute. Linda Martellowitz, it says, releasing only human consciousness is releasing our sense of limitation in order to more fully embrace the divine possibility that we are. When we release the belief that I am only human, we uncover our divine identity that has been intact all along. We don't have to acquire it. We only need release our limited sense of self or finite sense of self to reveal the infinite potential that we are. So can you see how this is what we want to renounce or reject, the sense of limitation? We're not denying or rejecting our humanity. We're not going to get rid of it. It's how we operate. We just want to deny that we are limited to that we don't have access to this potential of divine ideas, of divine life and love, and that we can co-create that together. That's how powerful we are. But we have to release, no, not me. I can't do that. Let them do it. We've done that. Look at what they've done. And they are us. Let me be clear before we draw any they and us, they and them lines. It's all us. So thought can tend to crystallize around long-held beliefs that get reinforced in our experience. So we have to notice those thoughts that we think without even noticing we're thinking them, and we know that they're true. Well, they're just true. Who told you that? My mom. Who told her that? Her mom. Who told her that? Her mom. Sometimes. Charles Fillmore, I brought this quote in with the thought of Dias de los Muertos and our ancestors and all of that. To think we honor them, we call forth their wisdom, we call forth their love, and we also are doing the work to healing what they could only endure. That sometimes the pain of war and of segregation and all the terror, the painful parts of our history and of life itself, all you can do is bear it. And so now we've got generations of people saying, we don't want to just bear it. We want to heal it and live another way, yeah? And we're the ones that can help that. We're the ones that can usher that. We can support that. So we are releasing and we are rejecting thoughts and beliefs that keep us small and that keep us feeling threatened, keep us feeling like there's an us and a them. In order to let the power of love shine through. That the power of love is that great harmonizing principle at work within humanity, within creation, seeking to unify us one with each other and with all of creation, that we take care of each other, that we take care of our earth. And that's our true nature. We recognize it in each other when we get present. And the world does not really like us to be present. There's all sorts of bells and whistles, right? Telling us all sorts of weird things and building algorithms to tell us more. So this day, I just ask us all to consider this ability to release, to let go, and to reject thoughts of yourself and of others that support separateness, that support that we could ever be separate. To realize what we could do and be if we lived as though we are eternally one. Yeah, we'd have to make some adjustments. We might have to take a little more time in collaboration. There's a lot of things we might have to do, but what could happen as a result of that is powerful, yeah? And I know a lot of people are just fatigued and scared. And so I'm just holding that we, recognize that there's an appropriateness to feeling fear. If you're in danger, fear is useful. If you're not, and you're responding that way, I say for myself, that's not usually very useful. I cause more damage. So I'm choosing, as we make our way into election week, to release thoughts of fear and division and intimidation, and raise up thoughts of love and connection and oneness, and to support each other in that. Love is a high vibration and it pulls us up. Or we can fall down into a lower vibration of fear and chaos and disorder. But it's a choice, to be sure. So I'm going to lead us through. Did I read the Charles quote, Fillmore, about ancestry? Gosh darn it, Summer, you kept me up too late last night. Charles Fillmore said this: the beliefs that you and your ancestors have held in mind have become thought patterns so strong that their course in you can be changed only by your resolute decision to entertain them no longer. They will not be turned out unless the ego, through whose domain they run, decides positively to adopt means of casting them out of its consciousness, and at the same time erect gates that will prevent their inflow from external sources. So we can say, I'm not going to think that anymore, but be sure that it might still come. Be aware, we'll have a gatekeeper of what we let into our consciousness, what we affirm, what we let percolate in our awareness. So as you consider for yourself what you might be willing to let go, those errors, misperceptions, limiting stories of yourself and of life itself, in order to let that life shine more fully through you. I'm going to do a little heart math meditation that connects us with the intelligence of our heart that Doc Childer, who I read from this morning, has pioneered. So I'm going to ring the singing bowl that invites us to drop from our head to our heart. Just taking a deep breath. Dropping into the intelligent space of our heart, where we feel the essence and the power and the presence of Spirit itself. Not think about it, but we feel it as truth. So as you take a breath, I just invite you to think of any belief or thought pattern that you sense you've outgrown, you've outworn. It might be ready to be released for the next higher expression of truth to come through you. Might be a belief about you, what you're capable of. Might be a belief about being worthy. Might even be a belief about being superior. The invitation is to release that which limits you, and connecting with the highest truth that is seeking to express through your life right here, right now. And as we let that go, we can rest assured that more life, more awareness, more truth will rush in to grow in its place. So we just consciously explore the invitation to let go of any stinking thinking. And claim the power of the truth that you are, I am, we are infinite potential in expression. In that knowing there's nothing that we can't do or be together. So we release thoughts that would limit that would separate us in any way. And then we turn to the power and the wisdom of our heart, maybe even putting your hands on your heart and breathing into that heart space. I invite you to think of a person or an experience or maybe a pet, those are always easy, that for whom you feel great appreciation with ease. Just, wow, do I appreciate having that experience or that love I feel from that animal? Just really let a feeling of appreciation penetrate your awareness. Appreciation and gratitude is a quick and easy way that we can kind of get coherence between our head and our heart. connect us with that harmonizing principle of love. So breathing in that sense of appreciation centers us in the intelligence of our heart. So grab hold of that energy, feel it in your body. Might be a white light, and begin to let it enfold you. This power of love and appreciation. It's coming from your heart. Let it radiate out through your arms and your hands. And send it to those people sitting in front of you. And as it flows down through, consciously, we're sending this love, no strings attached, to each other and out into the street here. May love do its mighty work through each of us, individually and collectively, harmonizing and unifying us around the truth that we are expressions of divine love in the flesh. United in that, there is nothing we can't do. If you are feeling down or lost or unsure, breathe in this love. This is for you here today too. We know that perfect love casts out all fear. And perfect love is the love of God expressing in and through each one of us. We love because God's love resides within us. It's endless. Its potential is infinite. So let there be love on earth. And let it begin with each one of us. And as we do that, we are able to stand more firmly with each other for the good of all. Opening our circles, opening our minds, opening our hearts. I just invite you to take a breath. Taking that love, that last sip of love back in for yourself as you bring your awareness back to this time and space. Is the time in our service where I speak of giving of our monetary good to support what we do here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver, which ultimately I hope to be expressing as the continuation of love going forth to do its mighty work in and through each and every one of you, through the communities that we serve, through the fun that's being prepared for us outside. I want to give you an update on our Greater Engagement Matching Campaign that we have the potential for raising an additional $60,000, $30,000 of which has been matched. We're at $55,160 is our total, which is amazing. We're so close. So if you haven't given to that and would like to, there's information in your bulletin about how you can do that. And that will be matched dollar for dollar up to $60,000. And there's also information about how you can give electronically in your bulletin if you haven't done that yet. There's information that will lead you right through it. I know many of you do that already, so thank you. There's also baskets in the back for checks and cash as you're leaving. And so however you are giving today, we know that what we give in love multiplies. And so let's bless these love offerings together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I am thankful. You brought the teens back in here. You know you've got a good musician when the teens come back in. Well, they're usually doing stuff, but somehow they got to come. They heard, they wanted to hear your song.
Something you've been missing one of these days. Oh, yeah. And it will not happen then, but it'll shoot right through your soul. Your whole world will crack open and then you'll know that you know one of these days. One of these days. Change is happening, whether you like it or not. Whether you know it or not, whether or not you approve. One of these days, it's going to occur to you that it'll be in your best interest to recognize the role you play within this universal experience. Benefit your highest purpose, to be consciously aware of the connection to all that is. And when that day comes, it will be the day that you finally realize that you are not separate. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just gotta move now. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just gotta move now. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just gotta move now. Get up, get up, get up, get up. One of these days, something's gonna shift you. Something's gonna lift you. Something's gonna change. One of these days. Oh, yeah. One of these days, something's gonna turn around. Show you who you are one of these days. And it won't come from out there. It'll come from inside. It'll start so soft and low, and then grow into a fire one of these days. One of these days. You are a being of light. Do you know what that means? It means you are not broken. You can never be destroyed. One of these days, you're going to wake up a little bit different. You're going to recognize that standing against anything isn't rising up. But standing for love is what we transcend. And we were built for transcendence, people. We were designed for greatness. Greatness is not reserved for anyone. It's open to everyone. You don't have to know how. You just got to move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just got to move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just got to move. Now get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, you don't have to know how. You just got to move. Now get up, get up, get up. One of these days, something's gonna shift you, something's gonna change. One of these days. Oh, yeah. One of these days, something's gonna turn around. Show you who you are one of these days. And it won't come from out there. It'll come from inside. It'll start so soft and low, and then grow into a fire one of these days.
water? You need some water? It's Colorado, you know. Thank you so much for being here. Summer will be back in March 16th.
March 16th.
And we'll have time to get a concert lined up. I didn't really get to tell you, I told you last time, but she's just a love bug. She's just a love, I call her Pooh Bear. Pear Bear. That's, yeah, it's a whole thing. But so as strong as your voice is, your heart is strong too. I'm so glad that you're with us. We're going to close. What are we going to close with? Prayer for protection, and then she's going to do one more song, Stand, on the way out. So if you're not standing yet, I'll ask you to stand for the prayer for protection as we close. Get ready for a taco truck. Remember, you're going to go out the south door and around if you're doing that. There's activities all around the building in the children's garden for people too, so check it out. Lots going on. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. All right. One more rock song.
As in revolution, a transformation of our time. All the things that used to be unthinkable are now turning into rights, and soon we'll see the change and drive, including every single one of us. One by one, we are crossing over lines, and one by one, we are changing people's minds, and it's due to being relentless, and it's because we believe that change is coming for us.